I am gaming. I am gaming. I am gaming podcast.
Hey everybody, my name is Ivica. Thank you so much for being on the latest episode of I'm Gaming Podcast, a podcast about the video game industry, entrepreneurship, gaming nostalgia, and many more additional things I find to be in the same realm of creative and business ventures. This time around, we're at episode 53, and I'm going to talk about something I rarely talk about in this podcast, which are non-digital products and ventures that use them as the cornerstone of their entire business. These can be anything and everything that's physically based, that exists in the real world, and includes atoms and molecules that come together and create something that is a thing that you either create or resell through your venture. Now, as most of you know, especially all of you who follow this podcast, I'm all about digital products, video games, books, content online, everything that is based on molecules and atoms that only push current through, create current, and push information through. And that information is actual product I'm interested in. So if any venture includes any kind of a physical product, it doesn't matter if you're creating that product or simply reselling it, I'm hugely skeptical about it. Of course, I completely realize that the world needs and functions around many of the businesses that actually deal in physical products. Food, for example, is a very much physical product. Everything you consume digitally is also set on physical products as well. And there are many more additional things that are actually invaluable and open to billions and billions of dollars in profits for those who can traverse their same waters successfully. However, if you're thinking about creating a venture that deals with physical products, tread very, very carefully. I'm saying this because often enough people disregard this idea completely, believing in many ways that physical products can be manipulated and set on the market in a similar manner to digital products, because in our generation a lot more people have come up using and thinking primarily about digital products and about things that can be found online and so forth. Very few are active today who have come up in a world that's completely physical, in contrast to example for the generation of our grandparents who got the internet when they were in their, I guess, 50s or 60s, maybe a bit sooner, but came up in a generation that was completely about physical products and maybe some digital content in sense of having TV and radio, but it was mostly all about physical things. The problem with physical things is that they come with a range of issues and difficulties that you as a business venture owner need to deal with. You first of all have storage. Even with things like drop shipping, you have to consider having the ability to have the products on your virtual store and having the ability to distribute them, move them, and send them to the users, who are your buyers in the end. The same goes for creating those products. The first major problem you come up here is the idea of making enough, but making just enough. If you make too much, you have a problem with storing that excess of products. If you make fewer than you need, you'll have a problem with not being stocked enough and having to turn away your customers, tell them to come back at a later moment, which is all pretty bad for you as a seller. Also, there is the problem of shipping. Where can you ship? How can you ship? Which country is inside of which shipping and transfer of goods agreement? All of these can add up to a logistical nightmare. Even if you're selling inside of a single country, there are many elements of this business. Again, completely irrelevant if you're making the same product, which is more complex, or if you're simply reselling it, that you need to take into consideration. Lastly, the physical product is potentially jeopardized by things like moisture or a leaky roof that allows a storm to flood your warehouse, or many other different elements. Also, you can get faulty products that break, products that you create in a way that's not adequate, and the list goes on and on. I'm telling you all of this because there is a resurgence of that type of a mentality that states that physical products are somehow more real, somehow more tangible and serious than non-physical products, like than digital products, because you need to have some teeth in the game. You need to have a supply, you need to have a logistical chain, you need to have many other things that you don't actually need to have with a digital only product. That's all true, but making things harder does not make them more effective and more real and more tangible. The bottom line always should be the things that interest you and how can they create a profit for you in a sustainable manner. It doesn't matter at all if you're selling digital things, physical things, or anything else. If you can have these two elements, you're good. If you don't, it doesn't make a tiny bit of a difference if you're creating furniture in your backyard and simply stocking it up and not being able to sell it to anybody. That might sound in some ways cool. You're making your own furniture, you're somebody who has the ability to do that, but if you're not making money from it, you should do it like a hobby. If you want to make a business, think about different things that can make you money if this isn't working, because at the end of the day, those things are essential. You being happy with that venture, and that venture being able to produce sustainable income. If you don't have one or the other, or if you don't have both, you don't have actually a venture. It doesn't matter if you're creating really nice things with your hands. No one will give you any credit for that, and you should simply do that as a hobby, not as a business venture in later days, weeks, months and years. This would be the bottom line. Tread carefully, again, with any ventures that you might have that use physical products, and consider all of these elements before you invest your time and most especially your money, because that money can be gone down the drain and you can get nothing from it at all. Of course, if you're interested in creating small online ventures, check out my book that's called The Pursuit of Micro Success. It's available on Amazon. It tells about different means of building your sustainable small online venture that mostly deal in digital products, in digital concepts, but can be applied to different things as well. The book is about the whole philosophy and mindset of building and sustaining these small ventures. So check out the book if you like it. I would appreciate if you consider buying it. That's all for me. Thank you so much for watching this episode of I'm Gaming Podcast. Hopefully you liked it. If you're a first time viewer, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you around for new episodes. Until then, have a great day and bye bye.